Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This is Reservations, and I'm Rain Whalen.
And I'm the one who shot the deputy.
Anyway. For all of our Bob Marley fans out there, implying that someone else shot the sheriff.
I came up... Listen. I came up with that maybe 5 seconds ago. So.
Well, see, and that's what makes it so funny. It's so... dude, honestly, I think that has to be a tie for my favorite name. Number one is, of course, the third Menendez brother. Because again, I know I've said it on an episode already, but like that caught me off guard, and it was so funny. But this one was good.
Thanks.
He shot the sheriff, well, and I shot the deputy.
I'm the one who shot the deputy. All right. We were in cahoots.
Me and Bob Marley. Oh, so good. I want to say, not that I'm trying to take away from you how funny that was. I want to say I feel like I've heard that joke before years ago.
Sure.
My mom was the one who explained to me the joke. Because I don't remember where I heard it, and I was like, "What does that even mean?" And she was like, "It's a Bob Marley song called I Shot the Sheriff," or like she's like, I shot the sheriff. And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing." But yeah, cool. Learn something new every day. It's still so good. Oh man. Oh well, welcome back, everyone. So you and I kind of watched the same thing over the weekend, buddy. That we were talking about off mic. We both finally saw Superman.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
I gotta say, I was really pleased with it. I didn't think it was going to be bad. James Gunn, his recent track record. Granted, I haven't seen his previous films like Super, which I really want to see.
Dude,
but like,
by the way, if we're talking pre-Marvel, James Gunn, Slither is.
I was gonna say you're gonna say Slither.
It's
aren't
so
you?
good.
Post all that James Gunn, the guy can't miss. So I knew Superman was going to be good, but I didn't expect that I really would enjoy it the way I did. I'm glad it's on Max now, even though they keep fucking pulling shit off. I mainly really wanted to watch it so I could watch Peacemaker season 2.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me wrong, I wanted to see Superman, but I was like, I really want to fucking watch Peacemaker season 2. Granted, there's not like a whole lot of Venn diagram crossover of Superman to Peacemaker season 2. Unless you didn't see Creature Commandos, you wouldn't know why Rick Flag Sr. is Frank Grillo.
Right.
And that's really about it.
By the way, appreciated that it's the same actor for both.
Yeah, I will say that is something that I'm really appreciative that James Gunn was like, no, like we're going to make sure we have the same person across animation, live action, which means if we get a live action like Frankenstein for the DC Creature Commandos, then it'll probably be David Harbour.
Yeah.
So,
I thought that was really interesting. Although I was a little, like it's such a small nitpicky thing. It's so stupid. I shouldn't even bring it up. But I'm like, his hair is gray in the cartoon. Yeah,
I have seen a lot of people. kind of bring that up, that he looks a little different in animation versus. I wonder if maybe that was just like because the concept art for him, he had gray hair, so it makes me wonder if they just stayed with that.
Yeah.
Because Frank Grillo does not have gray hair. I'm pretty sure he dyes it. I'm going to be fully honest.
Do you think...
I like Frank Grillo.
Yeah, do Do you think he just refused? You know, because like Frank, I remember the first time I ever saw him in anything was in Warrior.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Shout out to our Warrior episode.
boom. And then I think the next time I saw him was in one of the, was it Winter Soldier? I think he was in that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was his first. That was his Marvel debut. Was Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
yeah. But I really don't see him in much these days, so I'm glad that he's, because I love Warrior with all my heart and soul. So I'm glad that
Yeah,
he's getting some more
he's
respect.
been doing a lot of. I wouldn't say small things. Like he's in Tulsa King, but I'm
Is
gonna
he?
be real. Yeah, I'm not watching that
Go ask
shit.
your dads
Yeah.
about Tulsa King. Jesus Christ, what a dad show that is.
Yeah, no, I really like Superman. I thought it was great. I thought James's storytelling is so fantastic.
Well, and I'm glad they're going away from like the dark shit, right? Because dark
Yeah.
doesn't really work for Superman, I don't think. Um,
No, like I mean DC as a whole, like in terms of comic books, is darker than Marvel in terms of tone and stuff. But Superman has always been sort of like their beacon of like optimism, and
yeah,
and
yeah. And
no offense to Henry Cavill, I think Henry got a real shit into the stick, especially towards the shakeup. But I think David Cornsweet's version, the more optimistic, more hopeful version of Superman, I think is what's going to set Gunn's
yeah,
comic book
he
world
is more
apart.
of the Boy Scout, right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't swear. He's like really polite. He's he's super nice and
When he says golly, it's just like after they heal him at the beginning of the movie, and he's like, "Oh, golly!" I'm like, "Oh god." But like, but I was watching a lot of stuff where David Cornsweet and James Gunn kind of wanted those elements for Superman, so he could be less intimidating, especially to kids, like with the trunks. Because apparently,
yeah.
James Gunn talked to Snyder, and Snyder was like, "Dude, I could never make it work. Like, if you can make it work, great, but I could never make it work."
Yeah.
And David and James were like, "Well, he should have them. Like, it'll make him less imposing and
Yeah.
more friendly, because he looks goofy. He's an alien.
I mean,
So,
how relieved do you think Cornsweet was when he's like, "Oh, thank God it's not super tight," you know?
oh
I
yeah,
mean, what a dream, you know?
yeah. I
Like
mean,
poor
Cornsweet
Cavill, he's
definitely.
got to be sewn into that fucker. But
I know, dude. Uh, but it was great. I really enjoyed it, and
yep,
again, now I get to watch season 2 of Peacemaker, and so far season 2 has been great too.
I have not
I
seen Peacemaker. I'm sure it's great. I mean, I saw the Suicide Squad, which is fantastic, but
yeah,
super fun, loved it. This one also super fun. I think the highlight of Superman to me, it's always going to be Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk in
yeah,
anything is the highlight, right? Also, fellow Texan as well.
yeah.
He's from Plano, just over there.
What would you
And
do if you were just like on like you're doing like a day-to-day thing and you just like run into him?
what a dream. Alan Tudyk
Would
is
you
so cool, man.
would you
Um,
lose your shit?
yeah, he's incredibly talented. Um,
Uh, what? Now here's a question. Even though I know you wouldn't do this, if you were that type of fanboy, what character would you call out to him?
oh, that's a good question. Um,
Like I
gosh,
said,
man.
I know you would never do that. Like
No,
I know you'd be like
like that's
I
Alan
know
Tudyk.
you would probably leave him alone. You'd be like, oh my god, it's Alan Tudyk.
Oh,
Let's leave him
absolutely.
alone.
I'm like, I'm not gonna bother anybody. I'm
But
like
if you
that.
weren't,
So, like, it's so bad that I'm like that to my wife. I go, I'm not gonna bother her, you know. Um, but what would yeah, that's a great question, man. I wish I were that type of fan to be like, or I wish I were like an OG that I could be like, oh, dude, Firefly like changed my life. But I haven't watched Firefly, so
right.
um, uh, I think I've seen an episode, like maybe the first episode, and I liked it. I just never, just sat down and actually watched it. To be to be super funny, I'd probably say Steve the Pirate, probably.
Dude, I was just thinking
Yeah.
Steve.
Even though, I mean, he's just incredible. I mean, there's so many things. Resident Alien is so good. Um, and his mocap work is great, and um, he was cracking me up in this one in Superman. So good.
Yeah, especially with the whole like, could I have a name? Well, 4 is a name. So is Gary.
I just love that, he was like, I think the dog senses that, we have no feelings for him or cares if he lives or dies,
Yeah.
Um
One more Alan Tudyk thing, and then we'll get into the
Yeah.
episode. I love him as K2 in Rogue One. Apparently, he improvised the scene where he smacks Diego Luna Andor, and improvises the line, and that's why Diego Luna keeps his hand up like this, because he's apparently laughing because he wasn't expecting it, and of course Alan delivers it hysterically. So of course Diego's gonna be like, I can't break. But apparently you can see it a little bit. You can see like a little bit of a smile.
Yeah.
Because he's not hiding it well. But yeah, man, Alan Tudyk is great.
Yeah.
He should just be in everything.
I agree. I'll watch anything he's in. I love Alan Tudyk.
Unfortunately, though, he's not in this movie.
No.
So with that being said, what are we talking about today, Jeremy? Because
All right,
some people did see our Pinocchio episode.
Well, that's good.
12 whole people.
Well, welcome, you 12. Okay, hopefully people will stick around for this one, because this one is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So this week we are talking about the crime thriller, supernatural, neo-noir, mystery, detective story. It is Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure.
Yes, and I feel like I should apologize for those people who did make it to the end of our Pinocchio episode, and how I don't know what the fuck happened. That in my head I said Cure, but it came out so fucking weird, and I even told you when we wrapped that episode, I was like, I should probably go back and dub that or do something, but I'm not gonna do it.
Nah.
So
No bother.
At the top of the show for this episode, yeah, sorry for everyone. It's Cure. It's almost like I didn't like enunciate the E or the RE.
Cure.
I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know what you did. I don't remember.
So was this a first watch for you, buddy?
No. This is the second watch for me.
Okay, cool. This was a first watch for me. And I don't and again, like I said in the tease last week, I don't remember how this ended up on my wish list. I'm sure I had watched a Criterion Closet episode, and someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh, gotta add it. If it's good enough for them, good enough for me." Or it's either that, or it was a blind buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was at Entertainment, and I saw it. I was like, "Hey, that looks pretty cool." I think it was
exactly my experience.
I think it was the former. I think I had seen it on a Criterion Closet episode and was like, I should add that. And I was really excited for it. Like I remember reading the back, and I was really excited, and I just never got around to watching it. And I should also correct myself from our tease last week. It was not Cure. The scene I saw, was from another.
I think it was
from another. Yes, I was gonna say it's from another. How do you say his first name again?
Kiyoshi.
It's from another one of his films. So yeah, as you just said, it's probably from Pulse.
It's probably from Pulse.
But I do remember when I read the back of saying that this movie in particular changed sort of the landscape of Japanese horror. I was like, dude, let's go then. Like, let's go. And I'm going to go ahead and say at the top of the show now, I loved it.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of questions.
Sure.
and I want answers.
Okay.
But also, being a disciple of Lynch, I know that I may not get answers.
Yeah, there are
But I love.
several. It's a lot of open endedness um,
Mhm,
in the film, um, and some stuff is up for your interpretation. Um, some stuff is just not explained. Some stuff you're meant to ponder: is it this or this? Right? Um,
mhm,
it's just so brilliant, and of course the whole movie is laid out in such a unique way, and the sound design is unbelievable. So
yeah.
let's just jump right in.
Okay.
Um, so Cure follows Detective Takabe. Detective Takabe is investigating a series of murders that are peculiar because they are committed by seemingly random people, right? Um, these people are they have motives. It's not like they're denying it or they're saying they didn't do it. They're saying I absolutely did do this. I but I don't, I don't, it didn't feel like I did it, right? Like I mean, I
Mhm,
did it. This is why I did it, but I don't know what came over me, right? And then we meet this peculiar individual, Mamiya. Um, Mamiya is a sort of drifter type character, and he's the one that's interacting with these individuals before they commit these awful crimes. And he seems to be hypnotizing them um, with certain objects and the way that he's speaking to them, and by um, the way he's sort of taking them under a trance, right? And so now Takabe needs to track this guy down, right?
mhm.
Because he is the link with all these murders. All the while, he's dealing with personal problems at home because his wife has some sort of mental disorder where she's sort of, it's not really specific in what her ailment is, but it's sort of like Alzheimer's. Um,
Yeah, I read that it's like a schizophrenic Alzheimer's.
yeah,
I would say it's more Alzheimer's, but
yeah.
continue.
And so he's dealing with that at home, um and so he's never really getting any peace, right? So he's dealing with these crimes, and now he has to he's worrying about his wife, and then hypnosis is involved, which is really bizarre, and he doesn't really understand it. And as he learns more and more about um Mamiya, he's so entranced by the the whole idea of this hypnosis and having these seemingly normal people commit these awful crimes, and it's starting to affect him. After they catch him, he's having hallucinations, visions. Um, he's disassociating, um, and when he finally captures him and corners him, he kills him, and seemingly things maybe stop, but maybe they don't. Um,
Mhm,
um, During all of that, he um, put his wife in an asylum, and she dies in the asylum. And we leave Takabe in a diner, and he seems to be, in my opinion, at peace. He seems to be finally able to breathe. However, there is indications that things are not okay still, and maybe this cycle will still continue. And that's
mhm.
cute.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I was, yeah, like anyone watching, I was trying to unravel the mystery. Maybe this comes from uh living with someone who loves true crime. But I was trying to unravel the mystery beforehand. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to be 3 steps ahead of Takabe.
Uh-huh.
But I think what makes the movie so great is that what's his name again? Kurosawa.
Oh, Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Kyoshi. Um, because when we do an Akira Kurosawa
I
film,
know.
I usually just say Kurosawa.
Right.
Kiyoshi. What Kiyoshi really does is, I think he subconsciously knew that audiences are going to try to stay ahead of this, so I'm going to stay ahead of the audience. Because at least for me, while I'm watching it, I'm trying to solve it ahead of Takabe.
Mhm.
But then something new comes into play, and now I feel like I'm 4 steps behind.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that makes it so brilliant, you know. And I think that's why, you know, like a whodunit is so good too, because you know we're trying to figure this out. One, obviously with the character, but also we just want to figure it out. But Kiyoshi pretty much was like, nope, you'll figure this out when the characters figure this out. Um, and again, like you said, there's still no discernible answer. Like we truly don't know. Obviously, the main person who's been causing all this is gone and out of the picture, but the killings may not stop. You
Right.
know.
Um, so originally, at the very end, when that waitress picks up that knife, right?
Hmm.
Um, holy shit! I mean, how brilliant is this ending? I mean, it's so good the way that it just cuts, and you're like, oh my god, you know, like that woman goes up to her, whispers something in her ear, and then she goes and she picks up that knife and she's holding it in a sort of threatening fashion.
Hmm.
And then you have her walk a few steps and then it just cuts to black. What the fuck? So I thought that was completely brilliant. But originally, um, they had filmed an extended sequence of her actually going up and stabbing someone to death. Um,
Mm.
but they're like, let's just cut it, there. It's sort of like, with I Saw the TV Glow, it's like, I'm really glad they just stopped, you know?
Hmm.
They know where to leave the audience with, questions and, you know, what is it innocent? Is she just picking up that knife and just carrying it to the kitchen? Is she, what is she doing? We don't know. Right.
Yeah.
Is that woman working with Mamiya? Is she Mamiya? Right? Is there like a group of these people? Um, is she, his understudy? Is she his teacher? We don't know. We don't know who this person is. We've never seen her before, and
Hmm.
we'll never see her again. I mean, that's it. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Um,
I I don't know if you watched the some of the special features on the Criterion.
I tried, but I was doing something while I was watching it, and I can't do something and then watch it because it's subtitled, so I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I I was kind of doing the same thing. Like after I finished the movie, I was like, okay, I want to watch the supplements. But then like I had to do some stuff. And so the furthest I got was that Kiyoshi said that apparently the original ending, well, what he pitched to the studio was that, because he doesn't remember what exactly he pitched, he just remembers how it was going to end,
Mhm.
which was that Takabe was going to become kind of like Mamiya
Mm.
and sort of a wanderer, because he said we were going to find him back on the beach
Ah,
where we first met Mamiya.
yeah,
And I was like, oh,
that's really
and him seemingly lost all his memory as well. And I was like, that would have been really cool. But I'm glad that we did get the ending that we did, because you're right. You know, it does seem like, at least for Takabe, he can finally breathe, and you know, he seems to, he's enjoying his cigarette and his coffee, and you feel relief for like 5 seconds, and
well. And then
then
you sort of feel bad for that relief because
oh yeah,
with his wife dying, that's not a good thing, right? Um,
yeah,
and we just see her body for like a split second. I mean, it's not very long at all. Um, And I'm still trying to figure out the ties between the events of the film and um the plot of Bluebeard. I'm trying to figure that out still,
Oh yeah,
of why that's
I
so
thought that was going
important.
to come back into play.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I honestly I don't know. I'm sure if I thought about it for more than 2 seconds, I probably might figure it out, but forget it. Um
uh, but no, that is a good question because the film opens with that, with
yeah.
her reading the book, and she says, I know how it ends. She kills him, and you know, it felt like that was going to be something significant.
Mhm.
Especially when she goes back to that appointment and she tells the doctor, I've never seen this book before.
Right.
Um, it makes me wonder. Sorry, everyone. I know that's gross to see, but my ear was a little itchy. Um, it makes me wonder if Kiyoshi set that up to be a red herring in a way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
Maybe. Sort of keeping us on our toes from the very
mm-hmm,
beginning, because the film also does its best to hypnotize you. Okay.
uh-huh,
So by that I mean with their sound design and with the visuals that you're seeing, right? So there's a lot of silence. There's a lot of long shots where you are hearing things that are not in frame, right? Like you'll hear a train, you'll hear birds, you'll hear traffic, you hear children playing, you hear people walking around, and all the while we're not seeing that. We're just looking at our characters that we're focusing on, and it's just so brilliant the way that it's done. And there's a scene in particular that I thought was so effective in capturing our attention to something that doesn't seem significant, which
mm-hmm,
is Takabe is talking with someone, but the camera moves before he does. So the camera moves to the alleyway before Takabe gets there, and then we see the flashing lights of the train signal flash, and then we hear the train go by, and then Takabe catches up with the camera, and then we follow him. But he also looks back at it, right? And that's sort of to get our attention and to subconsciously maybe remember that siren or that signal for the train, because it comes back um
mm-hmm,
when he is sort of having his dissociation and his his flashes um of memory and of sound when he's in his car before he sees his wife dead in the kitchen. um and I just think that's so brilliant. And I also love that Mamiya doesn't have to use the lighter.
yeah,
um
yeah. That was honestly the scariest part when he uses a cup of water or just the water in general to hypnotize this doctor.
have you
Like,
ever been so unnerved by water flowing onto the floor? I mean,
no,
it was so effective.
yeah,
I can't believe it. I mean, it's the way that the scene plays out, with the quick cuts, with the long shot of just the water, right?
mm-hmm,
The silence of you're just staring at it and you're mesmerized by it and you can't take your eyes off of it, and now you feel what it's like to be this doctor. She's
mm-hmm,
also mesmerized by this water, and she's not really understanding why she's staring at it or why it's so interesting and why she's so drawn to it. And it's just the power of Mamiya and what he has, you know?
yeah.
Truly remarkable stuff.
Now, I do want to ask because a lot of my questions kind of revolve around Mamiya a little bit,
Okay.
which is he plays it up like he's got short-term memory loss. He's not able to form new memories in the moment. I personally feel like that's a part of the ploy before he starts to hypnotize people. I could be wrong,
No, that's an
but
interesting
but
that's an interesting theory.
because especially as he's getting closer and closer with Takabe, it's almost like he is forming new memories,
Mhm.
or at least the facade of "I don't remember who you are" is dropping.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because it's almost like he's getting these people in a rhythm, right? So he's asking them
mhm,
questions, they answer them. He claims not to know what they're talking about, you know,
mhm,
and then they have to repeat themselves, and it's almost like he's getting them sort of in this back and forth, um, where he has their full attention, and then he starts I think that's part of the process. I think you might be right there. Um, now, but there's that other thing where, if Kiyoshi Kurosawa had his way with the original pitch, then Takabe not having any of his memories, I mean, then that's part of it. Then maybe
mhm,
the memory thing is legitimate. I don't know. Um,
yeah,
you know, I think it's very interesting. We know nothing about this person, Mamiya.
mhm,
He just shows up. Which makes him more of a supernatural figure, even though he seems to be mortal, human. You know, um, because he was able to die. You know,
yeah,
um, he's just such an interesting looming figure of dread throughout the whole film.
yeah. And I also have questions about the the X, you know, because like when Takabe finds his apartment, um, there's that dead monkey that is
Yeah,
strung up in the bathroom with the X, and and everyone he hypnotizes does that,
yeah,
and I have so many questions about that too.
yeah. No,
You know,
I don't know what the X is about. I think it's sort of just like a way to connect all of them together, perhaps.
mm-hmm,
Um, because the one that I did watch one of the supplements today, and because there's a line of dialogue that Takabe asks the forensic physician that's with them, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, he asks him about the hypnosis, and the doctor says, it's like you can't make someone a murderer through hypnosis. Like they are still themselves under hypnosis. So,
mm-hmm,
like, someone who doesn't want to murder won't. And that's sort of where Kiyoshi Kurosawa got the idea. Was he was watching the news and he saw, there had been a murder committed, and they were interviewing the neighbors, and the neighbors are like, I can't believe that, they seemed nice and he seemed normal, but I guess there was a murderer, living amongst us, this whole time.
mm-hmm,
And he disagreed. He was like, what if it's not a bad person disguising themselves? What if it's just a normal, regular person that did this horrible, evil thing? You know?
mm-hmm,
I think it can both be true. They can be a normal, regular, nice person and then do this thing, right? Um,
yeah,
and so he liked the idea of that, and he was like, "Well, that's really interesting." And and so then he started, like, the reason that they all own up to it and they don't deny that they've done what they've done is important, because it's like Mamiya finds these people that have something simmering under their surface,
mm-hmm,
to make them snap. And all it takes is a little bit of suggestion, and then the rest they do, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the best. So there's obviously a lot of really interesting, cool techniques and shots in this film. Um, the grossest one is the doctor in the bathroom, um,
Oh yeah.
where she just takes that guy's face off, right? Um, that was insane. But I think the best example of the ideas that Takeshi Kurosawa is trying to convey through the inception of the idea is the police officers,
Mm-hmm.
because we have that one shot that just slowly zooms in, and we're hearing the birds, right? We hear sort of, a peaceful outdoors. Everything seems fine. They're communicating, they're speaking. And then he just shoots it, right? It is all so calm. It's just so smooth, and like, there's no panic, there's no rush, there's no confusion. It's just it's smooth motion throughout. And I think that sort of sums up the crimes of the film, is like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I agree. Yeah, especially that one in particular. Because yeah, and he just calmly pulls him back in to, you know, to cut the X into his throat. Because it's like the suggestion that Mamiya does is just to kill them. Kill them in whatever way you deem fit, essentially. But almost like they still have to carve that X.
Well, and it's also like, I don't know, like, it's interesting because I don't know if Mamiya knows what they're going to do, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if it's like, I want you to kill this person. Like, I don't know if it's like that, you know? I wonder if it's just, you know, I wonder if he's just digging up their darkest desire, right? Just so
Mm-hmm.
happens to be murder every time, right? Because also who they murder, right? Who they murder is a person significant to them, essentially.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like, like, we've got the the guy and the prostitute at the beginning of the
I
movie.
think that one's a little, yeah. That one, obviously, the person's not significant to him, right?
Well, but in a way, I
In
mean,
a way,
he paid for her services.
right?
But then we have that teacher and his wife,
Hmm.
and then the two officers because they were partners. Um, the doctor, I would say the doctor's maybe the one that doesn't,
Right. I
because
was
I
trying
think
to
she just,
remember and really focus if that was her patient she saw beforehand. And I
I don't
don't
think
think
it
it was.
was. I think she just followed a guy into the men's bathroom, and
Yeah.
but but in a way, it is because as a doctor, her Hippocratic oath to do no harm, and so in a way, but the one death in the movie, well, there's two actually that I have the biggest questions surrounding are, uh, I believe it's Sakamura, the psychiatrist investigator, sort
Hmm.
of Takabe's partner, his murder,
Hmm.
and then Takabe's wife. Those two, I have so many questions
Well, yeah.
because you know because we get that really cool sequence with uh again hang on, let me, instead of guessing, I'm pretty sure it's uh Sakamura or Sakama, uh
It's Sakuma. That's how I
Sakuma.
would say it.
Yes. Yeah. We get that really cool sequence of him like hallucinating that Takabe's like being very malevolent towards him,
Yeah.
and then when he envisions the like that school, uh and but it was all in his head. Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
But then a few scenes later he's dead,
Yeah.
you know. So and they said that like they determined that he took his own life.
Hmm.
And I'm just like,
I think that's true. I don't think that's wrong.
no, I don't know. I don't know. Because also at the center of it is Takabe. And like, we do get that one little shot when he's home and he kind of starts to lose it. And he
Yeah.
throws that gorgeous Wagyu beef against the wall. We get that brief little flash of him grabbing a knife.
Yeah.
But then he's on a bus with his wife taking her to an asylum.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I I I want to believe that he didn't. I'm going to be honest. I have a very like 5% theory that he killed them both.
Okay.
Um, but I'm not 100% certain on it because I can't confirm when he did.
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he killed his wife. Um, um, I think that he might have wanted her dead. I think that that's possible. Um,
Okay.
she is sort of a burden, right?
Hmm.
Um, on him, and you can feel the tension because another sound design element is like a slow hum,
Mm-hmm.
or a low hum all throughout Takabe's scenes. Um, and it stems from the washing machine in the house, right? The washing
Hmm.
machine is like a representation of the sort of disorder of his life. You know, he's always having to go home and turn it off for her just to come back
Hmm.
and turn it back on. Um, and there for a minute, I thought that woman reading Bluebeard was his wife, and that's not true. I think that would have been really cool. Um,
Ah.
that's a different person. Um,
Ah.
I know, but I think at the end when she dies, I think it's just he didn't have anything to do with her death, but he is maybe like benefiting from it, and
Hmm.
that's maybe just as bad. I don't know. Um,
But it does make me wonder who killed her. Because when we get the flash of her body, she's clearly been dead for a while.
well, I don't.
You know.
She. I don't know. I think maybe she may have killed herself. Maybe. Um, also, because I don't think it's insinuated that she was murdered by any means. Because like, if she would have been murdered, that would have been a bigger deal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and um, but I agree that you know with Takabe, it's sort of also up for interpretation whether he's also been hypnotized throughout the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he is under some sort of hypnotic suggestion. Um, and that's up to you, I guess, to if you want to believe that or not. I believe that he's affected by Mamiya, but not fully hypnotized. Because he has those visions and he has these moments of disassociation, and especially seeing his wife dead in the kitchen, I think is a indication that he is affected by Mamiya's power in some way.
I agree. And I think Mamiya knows that. Like when he visits him, continually tells him, "You're amazing."
Yeah.
Almost like a point of pride, like like, wow, you haven't fallen under my spell.
Yeah.
Almost like, because as we learned that Mamiya was a psychology student,
Right.
um, it's almost like he's been doing an experiment on people, hypnotizing them to see, if they would succumb to the suggestion. But Takabe doesn't, or
Mhm.
at least it's presented as he does. Jury's still not out for me if he did or didn't kill his wife. Um, but it does, taking the movie at face value, it does seem like he isn't really falling under it. He is being affected, but not necessarily full blown hypnotized.
Right.
Um, which is why, when he brings him before like his superiors, when he brings Mamiya before his superiors, Mamiya tells him like, "You're the only one who knows what I'm actually saying." Um, and Mamiya definitely feels like some sort of kinship with Takabe as well. You know.
Maybe, yeah. I think so. I think that he maybe some sort of connection. I don't. He senses something within Takabe, perhaps. Um, because you're right. He does seem focused in on Takabe, and it might be just because he's the lead investigator of this, of these murders that he is involved in.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. You know. Um, but again, it's all up to you, which is crazy. Um, I'll tell you one of my favorite shot in the whole movie is anytime he's in the bus,
Hmm.
because it's so dreamlike, because it seems like there's clouds behind them instead of a city, right? Um,
Hmm.
I find that so fascinating because in one it is a literal dream sequence because or at least it feels like a dream sequence, but then the other time it's shown it's not um presented to be a dream sequence, but it's still the
Hmm.
same. It's so interesting, and I think it's a really cool choice, and it's very effective. I can't stop thinking.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, the cinematography is so great. You know, I I love how the film looks and feels, um, because it feels at times very otherworldly,
Mhm.
and very surreal. And I was watching a video on YouTube where someone makes that point, that at times the movie does feel very surreal, um, but not for, not like David Lynch surreal, like you know to drum up, an emotion or something like that, but like almost like the characters in this film can't believe what's happening, maybe, if I'm making sense.
I think a lot of that has
um
to do with the sound design
mhm,
and with really long shots that otherwise wouldn't be a long shot. I think that's has a lot to do with it. The editing
mhm,
style obviously is important, but just the use of the silence in times, and just being still, and just absorbing the the images and taking your time with it. I think that has a lot to do with it. Um, this is not a horror movie technically, um,
yeah,
but it is. I mean, it's so it's so unnerving and so creepy and unsettling. Um, and it has a
yeah,
lot to do with all of those elements. That's why this guy has scared millions of people with like Pulse, for instance, um, because he's able to put you in a sense of overwhelming dread with water on the floor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
incredible.
I was talking to mom about it, and I was telling her how I, of course, I hadn't watched the movie yet, but how, how much dread the one scene I saw, which again was probably from Pulse.
Pulse.
Um, and she was like, of course, I've kind of changed my stance on horror films. Um, I'm sure I've said it on the show before. I used to not like horror just because uh, kind of had a bit of an overactive imagination as a kid, and so I would take me a long time to go to sleep. Now that I'm an adult, I really like horror, especially when it's really well written,
Mhm.
really well executed. Of course, we've talked about this on the show, like doing, Jordan, doing Nope with Jordan Peele, and um, but I was telling her about this, and she's like, "Well, I thought you liked horror." I was like, "Yeah, but Japanese horror is on another level."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, that's true," especially considering that this movie, by 1 year, uh, um, predated Ring, which of course, as many people know, is one of the most famous Japanese horror films,
Yeah.
which is insane. Uh, because I was reading that this movie did kind of usher in this new wave of horror films in Japan. Uh, the video I watched on YouTube today about it, the title of the video was called "The Scariest Non-Horror Film."
Oh,
Um,
was it Speaking of
and
Movies?
I think so.
I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, and let me
I
check
have
my
watched every video he's ever made. He is incredible. I wish
let me
I
check
was as
my
smart as him. He is
uh
so intelligent.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Speak of my movies. Yeah.
dude,
Yeah, it's called the
he's extremely intelligent, that guy.
yeah. Um and yeah, but I would agree to that it is a horror movie, but it's also not. It's more of a cat and mouse neo noir, but it's so terrifying, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. And it's something I want to mention before I either forget or we throw in as an oops I forgot. I love that Kiyoshi throws us off with how scary this movie is going to be in the opening minutes
Mhm.
when we've got sort of that whimsical music playing when that guy kills that prostitute.
Yeah.
And granted, we see it, like he doesn't cut away, we watch him kill her. um but he's still got this sort of like whimsical piano music, like kind of jaunt
Mhm.
playing, and it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security of like what movie you're about to watch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like this is sort of just a police procedural. No,
No.
no. I would say 10 minutes later, as soon as we meet Mamiya, the movie changes completely, and it becomes a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something about the way this film is put together that
Mhm.
is just, I mean, he hypnotizes you. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah,
Like, he is, taking the concept of hypnotism and putting it within filmmaking and having the audience just be enthralled with this story and with the images on screen. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah, 100%, man. I don't think I have anything else to say.
It's
Um,
okay.
just because, yeah, I think we've covered it all, man. Um, before we get to the wrap up, I do want to mention this. I guess this is our oops, I forgot. Um, I do love the actor who plays Takabe,
Yeah.
um, especially when he has that vision of his wife. hanging herself,
Yeah.
the sheer like horror on his face, and he's not screaming, um or at
No,
least not.
he's screaming, but it's in silence. I mean, he is. It's completely silent until, which is brilliant, until we're jolted into reality with the blender. So good.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's yeah. And also that actor is fantastic. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I did read that he was in he was in a new film that's also in
Perfect
the
days.
Criterion called Perfect Days
Yeah,
that I really, really want to see, and I've heard it's fantastic.
yeah, I've heard it's great.
Um, yeah. But that being said, buddy, are you ready to wrap up, wrap up, wrap up?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this movie's incredible. I I'll definitely watch it again. It's so good,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah, I mean, there's nothing else like it. It's just amazing.
I agree. I agree, man. I loved it. I wish Ashley was more open to watching foreign films. Because I think she would like this. I think she would like this concept of of hypnotism and and what that does psychologically, and I think she would really like it. But I know
Yeah,
she'll never watch it. But
that's a shame, but I understand.
yeah, yeah. Well, buddy, are you ready to hear about what we're talking about next week? Which you should
Yeah, go
remember.
ahead. I do.
Uh, yeah. So next week, we're really changing gears. We're really taking the audience, Zach, on a really emotional roller coaster, because we just talked about a movie about murder and hypnotism and cops. And next week we're going to be talking about talking animals. Um, so as you know, I specifically picked this movie just because, like, when I had the thought, I was like, man, I really want to talk about the movie, but you don't like the director, and I've tried to make you like him, but I was like, but I still want to talk about it because I really love it. I really love the movie. And again, I'm breaking my Criterion rule because I've seen it multiple times. And so I told you, I was like, yeah, you're gonna hate it. Sorry. And then I told you, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that one's fine.
And I was like, well, god damn it, that defeats the purpose.
It's the
But
it's the opposite of my Wild at Heart. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's I like this one, which proves I really don't like this director's stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So next week, everyone, we are talking about a Wes Anderson film, um, which, if you've been listening to the show long enough, you know Jeremy hates him and I love him. Um, we are discussing his first adaptation of a Roald Dahl book, Fantastic Mr. Fox. When I'm not gonna lie though, when you told me like, oh, I'm okay with that, and I was like, well, fuck, then all right, we're doing Isle of Dogs then.
Shit.
But I don't have the Criterion yet, so I was like, fuck it, we'll keep with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. I mean, Wes's style lends so perfectly to stop motion, um, because it's it's something that he is known for, which we've talked about in all the movies we've done for the show, which is his perfectionism, his framing. Stop motion was a no-brainer for him, I think.
I think you should only do stop motion.
Well, again, you haven't seen Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs is fantastic. Ashley and I were blown away by Isle of Dogs. Um, uh, this may make you feel better, even though we're not talking about this movie next week. My wife, who also loves Wes Anderson, did not like The French Dispatch.
It doesn't make it better.
Which I disagree with. I was like, look, I love you, but you're wrong. I think the French Dispatch is fantastic. But Fantastic Mr. Fox, it also it's the only time he's collabed with George Clooney, and I think that's a real shame. I think George is I don't know, something about him doing a Wes Anderson script is just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Clunes was good in this one for sure.
Yeah, but again, we still have a lot of Wes's frequent collaborators in the film: Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, Owen Wilson.
Is Meryl Streep in this one?
Yeah, she's his wife.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I really love Fantastic Mr. Fox. And another thing that we'll probably talk about when we do the episode is Wes really knows how to adapt Roald Dahl's works. Of course, by the fact he won an Oscar for The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar, and 5 More Stories, which were the series of short films he put out on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah, those were great too. Wes, like I said, I think Wes's style, again, lends to stop motion, and he understands Roald Dahl's works perfectly. So, well, cool. I'm disappointed you're not mad, but
yeah, sorry, man.
But I'm also glad you're excited to talk about it. So, cool. Well, everyone, we hope you enjoyed this episode on Cure.
There it is.
And we will see you next week for Fantastic Mr. Fox.